So here's the crucial point. Maduro didn't just lose. He lost decisively, according to credible, independent data. And instead of stepping aside, he refused to leave power, mobilize state power to suppress dissident, and continue to rule by force. That is an outright refusal to cede authority after a clear electoral rejection. That distinction matters because it destroys Paul's comparison at its root. In Venezuela, the electoral rejected Maduro. Independent tallies showed an overwhelming opposition victory, yet Maduro clung to power through repression and institutional manipulation. Maduro dismantled the system itself. Paul's comparison to Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden failed because none of them lost an election, ignored the result, dissolved democratic institutions, ruled by decree afterward. None of them ordered security forces to crush opposition to stay in office. None of them converted the state into a criminal apparatus to maintain power. Maduro did. Once a leader loses an election by a landslide and refuses to step down, he is no longer a legitimate head of state. He becomes an unlawful occupier of power. At that point, arguments about sovereignty weaken dramatically because sovereignty flows through legitimacy. Legitimacy which Maduro himself severed. It was about enforcing consequences against someone who nullified the will of his people and turned Venezuela into a narco state. Arresting a leader who lost decisively, refused to leave, and ruled through coercion is not election interference. It is accountability. It was an operation against an illegitimate ruler who had already overturned one himself. It was the enforcement of reality after a clear electoral loss and an outright refusal to step down. Pretending otherwise sanitizes dictatorships and confuses restraint with surrender. And that is why Rand Paul's framing is not just flawed, it is fundamentally incorrect.